here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind or the sun or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Valentine is done here, but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Romeo and Juliet, women every day. And Juliet, women every day, like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Don't fear the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. La 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 la. La 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 la. Love of two is one, here but now they're gone. Came the last night of sadness, and it was clear that you couldn't go on. And the door was open and the wind appeared. The candles blew then disappeared. The curtains flew and he appeared. Don't be afraid, come on baby. She had no fear. She hands to him and they start to fly. They look backwards and say goodbye. She had become like they are. She had taken his hand. She had become like they are. Come on baby, don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. La 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 la. La 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 la.
A speck of DNA, no blood, no knife, no crime. They call it proof, but science whispers, give it time. A sheath in the dark, a grainy car's glare. You can't hang a life on a maybe or there. They tracked his phone like a hunter's weak trail, but towers don't see through the night's foggy veil. He turned it off, or the signal just failed. A ghost of a theory, your justice derailed. Where's the blade? Where's the rage? Where's the why in this tale? A phantom is not guilt, let their logic is stale. If the proof bends like straw in the storm's reckless sway, then shadow of doubt means he walks free today. His car is 20 2015, but they swore 11 to 13. Their warrants lied for the corruption machine. If driving at night makes a killer CV, lock up the highways or we'll all be guilty. No witness, no scream, no footprints, no trail. The media's lazy script, he's odd so he'll fail. They'll paint him a monster to feed public cries, but justice dies when we trust easy lies. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they ask you to convict on their case built on air. No weapon, no motive, the proof is nowhere. Is this the standard we dare call fair? They'll quote his degree like it's Satan's own book. He studied crime, so he must be the crook. But thinking's not killing, and driving's not sin, and Taylor's a hero, let the truth begin. They'll shout stalker, predator, how he stared, but where is the who said he was there? A theory's a story, not fact, not divine, and stories can't shackle his soul to the crime. Where's the blade? Where's the rage? Where's the why in this tale? A phantom is not guilt, let their logic is stale. If the proof bends like straw in the storm's reckless sway, then shadow of doubt means he walks free today. Don't trade your doubt for their rage, a cheap song. When the evidence fades and the why feels all wrong. If you can't say for sure, then you must say set free. For justice without certainty is injustice to me.
Great song, and I did find out who it was. He came on and commented on my video and appreciated me using his song. So I was glad of that. And the name of the channel, if you're all wondering, is They Live -1984. Here, I'll just show you real quick what it looks like. And this is his page right here. They Live -1984 is the actual act or whatever. He's only got 30 subscribers. The song is right here. It's called Idaho Justice, and that's what I use, and that's his page. So anyway, crazy Friday night. It's a wild one. Okay, here you go. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to put the link back out here for you, Eddie. And there we go there. And I want to say hi to my crime family, my beautiful crime family, and welcome from Rory's show. Rory had a great show tonight. That was awesome. It's fun being up there with all you crazy people. And good to see you, Debbie Gazzardo, my girl. Joey, good to see you. Nacho Healy, my girl, good to see you. Ro, good to see you. A hoe named Ida, good to see you. And, Debbie Gazzara, my girl, good to see you. Jeannie, the crime terrorist, good to see you. Carrie Templeton, good to see you. Sweet and Salty, good to see you. Deborah Polly Putnam, good to see you, my girl. Simply Solo, good to see you. Tanel Rie, good to see you. Social Glow, good to see you. Amor, good to see you. Tom Campbell, good to see you. Latina, good to see you. And, of course, Onemaidennut, Eddie, is going to be up here. Good to see you, Eddie. It'll be a good show with you. Woke Up 1984, good to see you. Jackie Bushable, good to see you. Jessica Town. That's her right there. You can hear her laughing. Good to see you. I'm gonna make her a mod too, so be prepared, mods. Be prepared for fucking craziness, really. As you notice, I changed the name of tonight's video, and that's a lead off of from Rory's show. He had to have been there. Don't miss Rory's show. And hello to everybody. Valida K, good to see you. Everybody, Ruby Kang, good to see you. And everybody. And I want to introduce Mr. Eddie. Hey, Eddie, how you doing, brother?
Nice seeing you again, Tommy. Thank you for
seeing you.
Bringing me over to have a discussion about this injustice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and it's been a while since we had you on.
Yeah, a little while. And I want to say hello to everybody. I'd like to say hello to everybody individually, but I'll just say I appreciate everyone for being here with us tonight. Right. So thank you.
Yeah. So what is your perspectives on some of the stuff that's going on right now? That's the first thing I just want to ask, just to kind of get your perspective on stuff. You always have good thoughts on things. What do you think about what's going on? What they are saying, like, you know, he bought this K-bar, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the K-bar a little bit. What do you think about that?
I don't make too much of it. I was thinking maybe, you know, some people I'm sure are familiar with me, but for those who are not, maybe I could give like a brief introduction and kind of introduce myself as far as, you know, this Idaho case goes.
You're right. You go right ahead.
I don't follow true crime per se. I began following this case, as many know, very early on in the beginning.
Right.
And
I've been here a long time.
I never knew on YouTube that true crime channels were covering cases. I thought YouTube was for music and finding and learning ways to repair things around the house. So
right. Okay.
I've learned quite a bit because of this case. And like many of you, this case has got us obsessed, and rightfully so.
Exactly.
Because we can see something amiss. But I learned early on in this case that I needed to take notes because the volume of information, and also people over time forget and miscommunicate and misremember things. So I have a whole bunch of notes, and I try to keep the facts straight, so I don't put out any more misinformation in this case than what there already is.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
I try. I go. You know me. I go down rabbit holes, and you know, I go everywhere. Yeah.
I did step away from this case for a little while. It was right around when there was, I think it was around January 26th of 2024. That was when we first heard Ann Taylor say, "We're not sure how the state decides on Brian Kohlberger." Now, that is so important because that almost takes us right to where we are today. By the way, here's a quick Idaho 4 trivia question. So we heard Miss Taylor, you know, ask the question, how does Brian Kohlberger come to the state's attention January 26, 2024? Exactly. But that is not the first time that we all heard it.
No, it's been asked. It was asked many times, almost from day one.
Almost from day one. We heard it. Here's the official source on that. We heard it on January 6th, and that's 2023, by the way, just days after the arrest.
Right.
And that was from, of course, Lana of Truth and Transparency.
Right. Yep. Actually, I remember that. Yeah.
So, and I mention it. Of course, she deserves kudos, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
not so much for the purpose of that. I mention it because it kind of exhibits a larger truth, and that is that is as us as observers of this case, we can see as laypersons how important it is to have the accused be linked to the crime.
Right.
And we are still fighting that same battle today. Fast forward to the latest hearing, and
Exactly.
in not so many words, Ann Taylor was asking the same questions when she was deposing Corporal Payne. And he is he's stating that the 19th of December was when Brian Kohlberger came to their attention. Of course, as we all know, she caught him up.
See what?
She caught him up, and he admits
Okay.
that they knew on the 17th. And the way that came about
The
is
17th of November, are you talking now?
of December.
Of December. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the way that came about, so Payne testified that law enforcement was not aware of Brian Kohlberger's name prior to receiving the FBI tip on December 19th. And by the way, the state characterized the IGG information in this case as a lead or tip. And the purpose of the IGG is to investigate a criminal case. Without
Right.
the IGG, there would be no case brought against Brian Kohlberger.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. But okay, so what's your idea on we're not going to use the IGG, but they already did, and they, you know what I'm saying?
right, they're dancing around why they won't tell anyone how they got to Brian Kohlberger. And
Right.
Just to finalize the point is he never said a date. He never said it was December 17th, but in a document, which is the defendant's objection to the state's motion for protective order dated June 22nd, 2023. So long time ago.
Right.
On page 2, it states that by December 17th, lab analysts were aware of 2 male DNAs. And on the stand, he said that they were foregoing looking into those 2 unknown male DNAs because they already had Brian Kohlberger's name. So he fell into her trap, and she's got him on the record.
Well, I thought they knew about him on November 29th.
November 29th. Well, they're not going to ever admit to that, and that's probably for sure.
Okay.
You know, they for sure did have him. Yeah, because you're referring to when the WSU police would have forwarded that lead to
Right.
Moscow Police Department. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also a couple other fun facts. In November 26th, by the way, FBI expanded the date range of the Elantra. So do with that information what you will. And of course, there's always this.
Right.
You know, we remember in the first 48-hour documentary, you know, the hit piece that CBS News had. It was about 45 minutes long. We all watched it, I'm sure.
Okay.
And we learned in that documentary that in mid-December, the Elantra was tracked for several days by FBI using Easy Pass monitoring, fixed-wing aircraft, and ground support. Of course, that's not a case fact, but it's very interesting nonetheless.
Right.
But so this is a question for everybody. You know, how would you feel if you learned that on December 20th, that was not the date when Ellie was aware of Brian Kohlberger? What if you learned that they knew of him before that? How would that affect your overall feelings about this case, because they are refusing to disclose how, they're going to avoid with their entire being anything to do and hide whatever it was that got them to Brian Kohlberger for some reason.
Right.
So their work product that they turned over in discovery will not match that, you understand? They have a work product. And if they say any other way got to him, it's not going to match their work product in discovery. So that means that he wasn't investigated in that way, whichever way it is that they're not going to say.
Right.
And which means that he did not do this.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. He did not do this.
Right.
That's just one way of identifying the way that he did not do this. One person cannot commit this crime. There's another way. There's many ways. And the facts have been out there for so long. It's just people need to be able to see it. So
yeah, I get real tired of the guilters, you know, because they're just like this, you know what I mean? They don't widen their eyes a little, you know what I mean?
So the question,
look outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, we need to wonder, what are they hiding?
Exactly.
And of course, it's corruption somehow.
I have to say that too. And, you know, there's been people I've talked to and good people that they're very intelligent, whatever. And they think it's mostly, you know, ineptitude by the police department.
You know,
but I think it goes beyond that. Like you said, I think there's definitely some corruption there. And I hate saying that. You know, I really do, because, you know, we grow up and trying to trust, you know, law enforcement, police officers and stuff. And then things like this happen and, you know, you try to give them the benefit of the doubt. But when you got so much shit piling up, it doesn't look good for the law enforcement. Right.
Right. And we tried early on. We gave it the college try. You know, we used that PCA. All of us did, as a fact of the case.
Right.
So you started out by asking me, how do I feel about this knife sheath? And that brings us to me answering that question. So let me ask everybody this. Name a time when the state has been trustworthy in this case.
Fucking not from day one, dude.
Right. So if I lie to you 11 times, are you going to believe me on the 12th?
Right. Exactly.
So you know, I'm just. Yeah,
I watch Survivor a lot. If you know what I'm talking about, the show Survivor.
Yes.
And you know, there's lying and deceiving all the time on that. You know, and there's questions. They've questioned other contestants. You've lied to me like 6 times. Why should I believe you now? And it makes me think of the case. Just listening to that kind of stuff.
One lie is enough to question all truths.
Exactly. And I think that goes in life all the way around, right? Even like relationships, you know, if your wife lies to you or your husband lies to you, you know, it's hard to believe him the next time around.
So
you know, it causes trouble.
I have faith that, you know, and this is a good general principle throughout life, is you need to get both sides to the story. People oftentimes take one side of a story and they draw conclusions with it, and that's unwise. I want to wait for what the defense has to say about the knife sheath. Does he claim ownership of a K-bar knife in a knife sheath? He may refute it outright. Who knows? Or if
he may
not, if not that, there might be some other important information that goes along with it that explains it away.
Yeah, and I think I was on Rory's show just before this, and the reason I wanted to get up there was to say, he supposedly, allegedly bought a knife in March. And the way I look at that and is that he bought that in Pennsylvania, right? So, because he wasn't in Idaho yet. So he actually purchased it when he lived in Pennsylvania. Now think of this. Here's a kid, right? Here's a kid that's going to be going to school in a place he doesn't know. And Idaho is the number one, Idaho and Washington, that whole area right up there, that's the number one place for cougar attacks in the United States. There's cougars, there's bears. I mean, people do get attacked. And he's a jogger. He's a runner. Why wouldn't you buy a knife? Going to someplace like that, and you're a jogger and a runner, and you're going to be running in these parks and stuff, and you never know what you're going to run into. Or, like some evil dude or something, you know what I'm saying? But just the wild part of it, Eddie.
Yeah. That's even having.
I would buy a knife.
That's even taking your trying to validate buying a knife to the extreme. That would be like taking it to the extreme. Although it's true, it's just in general, guys love knives and guys have knife collections and gun collections, and there's nothing nefarious to that. It's just a fact.
Right.
Not all guys. It's not a sweeping generalization, but I mean, show me, a buddy of mine that doesn't. I'd be hard pressed.
Right. And
it
seems like everybody out there owns a K-bar. And I guarantee you there was a K-bar in the house. I almost guarantee you. I've seen pictures of Dylan with a K-bar. You know what I'm saying? And you see him like read up more on that Halloween picture. He's got one on his belt. Everybody's got a stupid K-bar out there. And maybe Brian did some research before he left and found out about these cougars and bears, and he knew he ran, so he thought he would buy it. I mean, it's not that these Gilter channels, they drive me nuts, dude.
They're the worst because they're
God.
Yeah, no matter what, it's a futile effort to even argue with them. It's like arguing with a fool. It just proves there's two.
Right. Yeah. I went in and just voiced my opinion, and I got out of there, kicked out of there, out of one of the channels. And all I did was voice my opinion.
Fortunate.
Right. But yeah, I understand what you're saying on all that too, and that does make sense. I really think that's the reason he got the K-bar. I really do. I mean,
let me ask
there was
you,
There was a cougar at Linda Lane that night, dude. There was a cougar there, and they're known to be in that area. And if you're going to go running, you got to have some kind of protection. I mean, a cougar, you run into a cougar, I'm telling you, it wouldn't be a fun thing without a weapon.
Yeah, you'd be a snack.
Right. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. I don't know.
But yeah, you're right. I don't go too far down into the rabbit holes with this case. I try to keep the focus on, the injustice, as far as who did it. I don't invest a lot of energy or have theories. But we should talk about DM, of course, that's just appropriate because it's right in line with the current events.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on Dylan? Because when the 911 came out, I got pretty conflicted, and but I think I'm getting unconflicted. What is your thoughts on Dylan?
Well, they're using her as a distraction. They're all the amount of discussion that there's been about Dylan, it means that we're not talking about the important thing, which is what I led in with. Why won't they say how they got to Brian Koberger? And trust me, they'll never
Right.
give it up.
Yeah.
So we're all talking about Dylan, and they're throwing her under the bus. They don't care about her. She's being used. Those texts are revealing. Certainly they knew, and we all see. But that doesn't change anything. We always knew that they knew something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that hasn't changed, and I don't know. The state strategy might be, to get that out there, to get ahead of it, so to speak, because it'll help normalize it. People are, by the time trial comes around, those texts won't seem such a like headlining news. Like, oh my gosh, you gotta check this out. It'll be normalized by then and just a normal case discussion talking point.
All right. Okay. What is it? I got to get your opinion on this. Because my mind goes there, and there is some fairly big people in that town, and with a lot of money.
Sure.
And of course, there is some. You look up like one of the families. It isn't so much the mom and dad as it is other relatives. But I'm talking like JS. His family is pretty big, dude. Pretty big, and I have a video that might explain some of that. We'll look at here in a bit.
Sure.
But yeah, what do you think of that idea that apparently it looks like they're trying to cover something up?
Yes.
And why? And then you have to ask yourself why. And the reasons I come up with is because they're fucking with someone that's really big. It's somebody's family, there's something that has to do with a lot of money in Idaho. And that's the only thing I can think of, because they're so brazen, Eddie. It's like they don't even care.
Yeah, follow the money.
Follow the money.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so much bigger than Brian Koberger.
It is. It's very, yeah, exactly. Perfect. It's so much bigger than Brian Koberger.
And that's why they have to take him and, appoint him the villain in this, because it'll bury whatever the truth is in doing so.
Right. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do, bury the truth. And, and I do believe this is probably going to happen. He's probably going to get found guilty here in what is it, Ada County or whatever it is.
Yeah. I keep saying it.
Then it's going to automatically go to appeal. I think he's going to get found guilty here and then get found not guilty. I think that's going to get overturned in the appeals process. That would be a double win for Latah County, because then they're not putting anybody away, shooting anybody, and then the people that really did it get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. I sure hope,
because they'll just say the guy got off in appeal. We don't,
right.
We had the right guy. He got off on appeal. So they don't have to, they tore down the house. There is no more evidence. It's gone.
Oh,
Whatever they
anything
have,
evidence
that's
is
it.
gone. Yeah, anything
Yeah,
exculpatory has been lost. Anything
exactly.
that shows real images of the true perpetrators has been lost. The DNA uh, of the two unknown males, that is not there to be discovered by anyone. That's gone.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
ask yourself, under what conditions could they throw away those two blood evidences? Unknown male B
They
and D.
shouldn't have been able to do that at all.
Well, you can throw it away if you know who they are.
Well, yeah, if you know who they are, right? Or if you're trying to cover for somebody.
Well, yeah, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know who they
Yeah.
are, and you know that those
Yeah.
lead to the wrong questions. You have to get rid of that because it's, we can't have the world learning it was those two.
Right.
Who knows
Right.
why those two did it? Were they just like were they low on the totem pole and they were paid to do it? Because when there's
Yeah.
more than one, then there's a conspiracy and a
Right.
motive.
And I think there's a pretty good conspiracy here too. I really do. I think there's more people involved than people know.
Yeah.
And just the timing of things, everything, the way my timeline, it matches with everything. And, even the four people, and that's actually 8 people running by the flashlight there over on Banfield, that's at 3:12. And in my opinion, it started around 2:00. And I think that slipped out of Mrs. Chapin's mouth, that 2:00 will always be the dark hour. I think that kind of slipped. And I really do believe it started at around the 250 or 156, 158, right around that area. And actually, if you go to the Linda Lane footage and you just listen to 150, right around 156 to 2:00, 2:10 in that area, and just really listen, you can hear him getting dropped off by Gower. And then you hear some hollering and shit going on. And I do believe it's real. I believe that's real as hell. And I think there was more stuff going on over by that house from Sigma Chi. That's my opinion. I can't say it's for fact. I'm just speculating here.
Sure. By the way, I have to throw this out there.
Right.
As far as multiple perpetrators, so just so everybody knows, if your opinion is that there's multiple perpetrators, then one of the perpetrators cannot be Brian Kohlberger. That is not the way this works. That is not in your list of choices. I'm removing that from being a possibility. But in all seriousness, it can't be Brian plus another, because trial is not where the prosecution goes to learn what level of involvement the person they have indicted for the crime has. They say he did it, and now they must prove he did it alone. That's how
they have to prove it. Right.
That's how they're bringing this. They're not saying he's got some level of involvement. So if you think there's more than one, and whenever I say you, I always mean you plural, you listening.
Right.
It's, if you think there's more than one involved, then that automatically right there tells you that he is innocent. It just does.
Well, how what's your thinking on that? Why couldn't he be? And I'm just asking, why couldn't he be like the second person or whatever? Why couldn't, if there's two people involved? What's your reasoning there? I guess
when is Bill Thompson going to learn this? He's the prosecutor. His name is in his legacy is attached to this work product.
Yep.
So when is he going to learn that in trial? When Brian says, "Yeah, I was involved. You're right. My part was I was the standard bearer. I was to drive around carrying the flag. Someone at gunpoint made me." Since I'm kind of artsy, I made the flag. It's a paramecium on a blue standard, and I drove around with that on my car.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
They had me doing circles all over the place as to confuse the investigation. So that was my part. It's what say you to that?
Right. And I do believe you on that. If it couldn't have been Brian and somebody else. He wasn't even there long enough to really meet somebody to get in, to have enough time to even plan all this, or you know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, and they're right, this is almost a perfect crime. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Except for what we haven't got. That's the problem, is what they're withholding. To me,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. The last point on why it can't be him is, so the prosecutor, he doesn't apply guesses and half measures. Investigating crime is an exact science. They got it down pretty good.
Yep.
They ensure that their case is airtight before they bring it to trial. Trust me.
At least bigger cities that are used to bigger crimes like this.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about Moscow, but yeah.
Well, it bothers me that people are willing to go the route and believe that it's the inept. They did a bad job. They're green. They don't know what they're doing.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, that gives them kind of an out.
Right. Oh, they're just Keystone Cops.
Yep.
Type thing, and fucked it up. But there's too much. There's too much, and it's the trying to withhold. And now you look at the PCA, and everything in that fucking PCA is a lie.
Everything's a lie.
Everything's a lie. Well, to me, why isn't this case thrown out already? They lied to get the arrest warrant, dude.
There's a couple facts sprinkled in here and there, and that's what makes the best lie.
But there's so many lies on there. I don't see how they're getting away with this. I really don't. I've never seen anything like this. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're so brazen. It's like they don't even care.
They don't care. They have everybody on board. See?
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody understands.
I'm worried about this.
There's two sets of facts, which, by the way, it makes our discussions kind of challenging, because it's like, what mindset is the person in that I'm talking to? And what I mean by two sets of facts is there's what really happened, and the state is control of all the discovery. They were there first. There's what really happened, and then there's what is on the record, which is what Anne has to go to trial with.
Right.
For example, there's many examples, but I think the last time we were talking about Brian Koberger's interviews. And we all know that the defense,
mm-hmm.
in a motion to compel, they wanted the recordings from Detective Payne's interview with Mr. Koberger.
Right.
And the defense turns over something in discovery. It happens to be an in-person interview with FBI agents rather than the phone interview done by Moscow police.
Okay.
So the defense tells them that, hey, you gave us the wrong discovery. We still want the Payne phone interview. And then the state responds, oh, that they checked into it and confirmed that they've been informed that that phone interview was conducted by Special Agent Shirley, who says that the phone interview was not recorded. Well, if you were interviewed by Corporal Payne, I think you would remember that. So if you're requesting specifically a phone interview by Corporal Payne, you would know. And then when they answer you and say, they're gaslighting you, it seems like this phone interview was Special Agent Shirley. So they're denying, in other words, that a phone interview with Moscow police ever took place. Well, at any rate, at this point, what can Ann Taylor do? They're not giving it over, and she can bring it up during trial. She is without that discovery, and she's got to make do the best she can without it.
Right.
By the way, the running total of interviews is 3 by my count. There's a supposed Brett Payne interview, which the state claims is a phone interview. So no matter what, there is for sure one interview by phone. Either way, it wasn't recorded.
Right.
So there's one interview. The other interview, which was recorded, is with, it was turned over in discovery. It's the FBI interview, in-person interview.
Right. Yeah.
Lastly, we learned in this latest hearing that Detective Payne did an in-person interview at the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks. And he said that he testified that Detective Gilbertson had a recording device in his pocket. So that it doesn't confirm this, but it suggests that it wasn't recorded. Doesn't that feel that way?
Yeah, they didn't record anything out there. There was no body cams, right?
Right. They didn't record that interview. It feels like. Don't run with it too far, but by Payne testifying that, to my recollection, Detective Gilbertson had a recording device in his pocket. That's almost like giving yourself, an out, right?
Right.
Okay, so we know that there's been 2 interviews, a phone one and the one at Pennsylvania State Police Barracks, that were not recorded. So I'm betting that this in-person interview with the FBI, which is the 3rd interview in total by my count, that was done last. It was done last, and it was done by a very seasoned FBI interviewer who knew how to get something on record and dodge around, dance around whatever sense.
Right. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, brother.
Yeah, it's almost like a theater.
Right.
Whatever they asked him was fine, that the world hears and can be discovered in discovery. And they dodged the question, whatever questions or whatever things.
Yes.
Brian was telling him,
so they don't have
them.
the first and second. They don't have the first and second interviews, the ones that are closest to when they arrest them and everything. It's like those were warm-ups for the big interview with a seasoned veteran FBI agent. Correct?
Yeah, or he's telling him something very exculpatory, lack of better words.
Right. Okay, yeah. See you later, girl.
I'll be on in a little bit.
Yeah. Then Yvonne Poole here states exactly what the point I was trying to get across earlier. This should be dismissed for illegal arrest and prosecutorial misconduct.
Yeah.
And
well, it tells you.
It really should be.
Well, it tells you that, and I hate doing this too. Accuse without the evidence other than what's right before my eyes, but it tells you some truths about the previous judge.
Well, we do have the lying to get the arrest warrant. You can't go on a court document like that and lie to a judge. I was I was sitting in the courtroom during a case, and this narcotics agent lied to get the search warrant to a different judge. Okay, the judge was up on the third floor. We were on the second floor, and he had lied, and they got him on the stand, and they asked him about it, and he lied again. And they went right up to that judge, and that judge said, no, that's not what he told me to get the search warrant. And that case got thrown out right there on the spot. Right there on the spot. You can't lie like that to get a search warrant or an arrest warrant. And this case should be thrown out the frickin' door immediately. That's my opinion on it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And it won't. I don't want to drive home these interviews too far here, but the last point to make about it is, we got a good viewing right now. We're at like 250, and you're pretty smart. So we got a pretty smart crowd here. When in true crime,
right,
do phone interviews take place with someone who's been arrested? That seems unusual to me. Is that commonplace? Because
a phone interview? Yeah, that
phone
doesn't
interview
even sound right.
Doesn't sound right.
Even...
It feels like this took place before the arrest. And before probably he left for Pennsylvania. Doesn't it feel like he knew something was going on?
He had to.
How far back? But with all this, they watched him walking in his parents' community there, like on the 16th or 18th, I forget. And then he's jogging. They've got him jogging at night and walking in the morning. What is he doing? Well, someone would answer, well, it's obvious. He's exercising. Yeah, but like if you are paranoid and you think, like, what is going on? This car, right? You want to get out there and you walk. You're going to use your legs. You're not going to drive your own car, like walk, driving around the neighborhood. You're going to, because you're going to see more. I bet every hair on the back of his head was standing up. And then from when? It feels like a long time, with the way they put out on December 7th, like they need the community's help looking for 2011 to 2013.
Right. Yeah.
White Elantra, and they show pictures of it. Well, if that was me, I would get ahead of that. Like, well, I know that a year of my car, but everybody in this apartment complex don't. They're going to probably look at my car and call it in. So I'm going to get ahead of that problem and call it in myself. Like, hey, just want to let you know, right? My car is almost identical to the one you're looking for, but
are you trying to say
when he's in Pullman, he might, did he call? Because obviously,
and that might be where this phone interview came from, right?
Right.
You're suggesting that's a good point, Eddie. That's a good point. Listen to that one, people. That phone call interview, it was probably Brian calling there to tell them that he has a car that fits that.
Exactly. He knows,
and that's on that it's right. No, what day you said that's on December 7th?
Yeah, wasn't that December 7th when they put out
was it?
For the
I can't remember.
The public's help to,
yeah, that sounds right.
Car. Yeah, they put out that stock photo in 2011 to 2015.
Yeah, it just, it's things like that just make a lot of sense. There has to be a common sense to this case. And I know I stray from the common sense a lot, but I always come back to it. You know what I mean? I always come back to to what makes more sense, and that makes a lot of sense, Eddie. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You got the two pullovers. You know, it's like there's a lot adding up in his perception, right? There's a lot of
right.
things that just causing him questions like, what is, it's just, I can't put it all together, but something's happening. This is crazy.
Right. Yeah. Oh, this whole case has been, I mean, it's just, I've never seen a case like this, dude. I mean, even the OJ case, as wild as that was, it's nothing like this. It's nothing like this.
I came across an interesting article tonight. Do you remember when we first learned about K-Bar? When was that first like thrown out there to us, the observer, the public? I came across an article, a Fox News article, where because I was trying to look for.
Been quite a.
It's before the PCA. Tommy, did you mute yourself?
It's before. No, the computer's acted up here a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was before the PCA that they started talking about a K-Bar knife. Do you want to see? Do you want to know what article this is?
Right.
And what date it is? It's November 17th. They're talking about a K-Bar in this article.
In November 17th?
Yes. Did you? I never knew that. I learned that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
November 17th? Well, yeah. Well, I suppose because they had to know. I mean, my butt must have known kind of some kind of weapon. Oh, the sheath, right? The sheath.
Yeah. So I'll put it in chat. Let me.
Probably because of the sheath, though. They found the sheath, on the 13th, and so I'm sure by the 17th they knew what they were looking for in a K-Bar.
This is a Fox News article that I found. It's dated November 17th.
Okay.
If that helps, that's the title of the article, right, and the authors, the journalists,
and that's Fox News.
Fox News, yeah. See, I was looking for, because I knew way back when, I was looking for where it said, because I was reading Thomas in the chat before your live started. I was reading what he put, and it was just amazing. And shout out to Thomas. Can't pronounce
Thomas
the last name.
always
Osaka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oaxaca or what? Right. The Mexican.
Right.
Yeah. He's a mod of mine, and yeah, he's really a very intelligent man. And
so I was looking because I knew we learned way back when the coroner said their time of death. By the way, it's noon. And I was looking for that article where it says that. And this is in my looking, this is what I came across. And I saw that picture of a K-Bar in this article talking about a K-Bar on November 17th. I'm like, dang, that one got by me. I always thought that we learned about a K-Bar knife, through the PCA, but
yeah. And that's the thing. That's something that I'd like to talk about too. Is this? Okay, we were told that they were sleeping, and Dylan gets up at 4, and then she sees somebody walk by, then she closes the door and locks the door and goes to sleep. Right?
Yes.
That's what we were told. Okay. Well, now we look, and there is texting pretty much all night long, all morning long. And again, that was on the PCA. Again, there's more lies to get the arrest warrant.
Yeah, absolutely.
That arrest warrant should be totally thrown the fuck out of that court There shouldn't even be a case.
There's no getting around it. There's even no discussion about it. It's end of story, period.
Right. There should be no case, period. Until if they found more evidence. I mean, this knife sheath isn't doing it. It's not going to do it for the jury, I don't think either.
If there's even anything behind it, who knows if it's what truth there is in it. Again, I'm just patiently waiting for what the defense has to say about it.
Right.
Either way,
I have a feeling Thomas is going to rip shit apart. What about Thomas?
Either way, Thomas was right. They have to put that in his hand at that crime scene.
At the crime scene, yeah. It's no good unless you can put him at the crime scene. Finding that sheath with the DNA, the DNA does not put him at the crime scene. You know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. DNA does not put him at the crime scene. Period. So they have to put him there.
In a right side up world, that DNA on that knife sheath is something that even makes the circumstance of the crime scene look suspicious. It's like the old cigarette butt trick where the criminal deposits another's cigarette butt in order to throw off the investigators. I mean, that's how old is that trick, right?
Right.
So you don't, as law enforcement or the prosecutor, talk about too good to be true. Like, what a gift. You got no clues around this crime scene, but this sheath that's conveniently left there for you to find. That's not real life. They don't just hitch their team to that piece of evidence and marry themselves to it, assuming it's authentic.
Right. I mean, even as let's say that it was there, and if you're a police officer, you have to think too, was this planted by somebody? I mean, all that stuff has to go through your mind, right? I mean, to be a really good detective, you have to think of all angles. You can't just say, you know what I'm saying? You can't even say that's the weapon that was used.
Right.
Not until you get the stuff back from the coroner and all that. And I don't know how good of a job. I suppose they were sent to Coeur d'Alene or something, though, wasn't it? I think my butt was involved, but I don't think, did she do the actual autopsy? I can't remember I thought I remember them sending them to Coeur d'Alene. Do you remember what it was?
Spokane is
Spokane,
where the autopsy was. Veena Singh was the doctor that did it, or the medical examiner, rather. Right.
But my butt was there, wasn't she?
Present. Yes.
Yeah, my butt was present. Yes. So she apparently knows what that person said. Have we actually even seen what the real autopsy reports are?
No, not at all. Nor any toxicology.
And to me, that's really important. If it's true about that one where they say there was only one with that had drugs in their system, and that was opiates, and from what we heard, it was Ethan. But and I heard that's why Chapin sent for the second autopsy, was because they didn't believe that their son had opiates in his body. That's what I heard. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. But yeah, it's a fucked up case, man. No matter how you look at it, and no matter what angle you come at, and no matter what you look at in this case, there's always something there that isn't quite right. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, I can tell you this thing was on from the very beginning.
Yeah.
When you have, whatever involvement the two surviving witnesses have, law enforcement knows. See, this is what everybody overlooks, or maybe they don't overlook, but it's hard to focus on this when we have DM and BF to pick on and focus on. But law enforcement knows whatever the truth is of their situation, and they're going along with it. Yes.
Yeah, they have to know. They have to fucking know, dude.
So if they were coerced by main force or whatever means, if they are involved at all, who knows? I don't care. There's bigger fish to fry. My attention goes elsewhere. I'm looking at how come they're getting a free pass, because they know something.
Right. Yeah. Well, they definitely know something. Look at all the texting. And we'll look at that again. I mean, I know it's been looked at a million times, but there's just stuff in there that it's too much, especially when we're being told, that they were sleeping and blah, 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 just a bunch of bullshit.
Notice how Ann Taylor in that one of the latest documents that we got, she in the one where there's the text message towards the bottom of that one, she says that they were downstairs. Ann Taylor is saying that they're downstairs, right?
Okay, right.
If you get it pulled up, we'll see. But what I'm talking about is, so obviously Ann Taylor was not there that night with those two girls. So she has to go with whatever. Yeah. So she doesn't know what happened. So although she may know that they were not there, right? She may sense, like us, that DM and BF were not there, but
we're not there. Yeah,
she has to go.
I believe at least Dylan wasn't there, in my opinion. And
they're not together at any rate.
Right, and that might be the exculpatory evidence that they're looking for, is because they know that Dylan was gone, and they know that Bethany knows that, and that could be the exculpatory evidence.
Right,
that she wasn't even home.
Of the two truths that we're talking about. Like, so if this is how the state wants to go to trial, then what choice does she got to stomp her feet and say no, that there's a different truth? She's got to make the best with what the state is doing. Like, okay, you want to go to trial like this, and that's what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. I don't see how. I don't know. They have to have a lot more than what they're showing because it just doesn't make sense. And when you look at this stuff right here, I mean, they were at 2:10. I mean, DM is texting the Uber driver to see if he was driving, and then 3 minutes later, he texts back confirming he was driving. What was this all about?
Well, somebody needs a ride, it looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you driving? And then, I mean, look at all this shit. Just, I don't even have to read all, it's just look at it all. Look at it all. All the way up, I mean, what the fuck? And they're messaging all this shit and texting and calling and all this, but they don't do 911? And why is Dylan calling her dad? Is it because she did something wrong and needs help from her dad? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's too much, dude. It's too much. And it goes right up to, from 11:50, or where is that one part where she's on like Instagram or something for like fucking 2 hours or something stupid. I mean, but yet she's in a frozen shock phase. Do you know what I mean? That's what they told us. Remember? That's what they told us. She was in a frozen shock phase. Well, that's a bunch. That turns out to be a big lie.
Yeah, definitely the lone perpetrator narrative was already in play as early as, the 911 call with EA, or, whoever it was that was making sure that they communicate the lone perpetrator at 4 a.m. narrative over the 911 call.
Sorry about that.
Were you able to hear? Was everybody able to hear?
Oh no! You were? Everybody else did, but me.
Okay.
What was it you were saying?
Well, the lone perpetrator narrative was already in play, as early as that morning.
Yeah, which is to me is crazy.
Is that what the state is trying to do? Is trying to, with this present sense impressions and whatever, like they're just trying to show the jury present sense impressions, but in reality, what they're trying to do is sneak in, that the lone the lone perp was already a truth. That's
right.
Like,
and they started that really early. They started planting that. I noticed this because I went back and I was watching like old newscasts and shit like that, old Banfield shit and whatever. And they were right away. They were saying he could, you know what I mean? It was all like, it was only one person. And that started like almost immediately. You know what I mean? There never was I never seen a narrative come out of the media that there was a double, there was 2 or 3 people involved, Banfield might have gotten a little question, she had a lot of questions when like Anton showed how close it was that those runners were running and stuff like that. I think that caused her to question stuff, but they're kind of told what to say in some ways or which way to lean. So I don't trust the mainstream media that much either.
No, there's a disinformation campaign, and they are
right
how it is broadcast. And by the way, this ought to make everybody feel good, but it is your money. That is how they finance it. Is the state is doing this disinformation campaign against Brian Kohlberger with your dollars. You're paying for it.
Unreal. Yeah, that's unreal. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Right.
So I'm on page 7 here. The defendant's objection to the state's motion in limine regarding text messages and testimony.
Okay. Right.
Looking on my.
You got it pulled up on your screen. Can you share it?
Okay. I doubt it.
Yeah. Just
I
click
just
on
read.
that.
It's just a sentence, but.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. To get to BF's bedroom, DM passed the front door of the residence. So here, Ann Taylor is saying it as a statement of fact, right? I mean, it's on the record, so that's what. So this, because let's say that she knows that, or senses that, I don't know, BF was in a motel,
right?
But all of that discovery of those, her driving there and her checking into the lobby and everything has disappeared. There's no way for her to prove that. So what choice does she have but to just roll with it? Because the state really has 2 choices. The state has got a problem with these 2 surviving witnesses. They can either be A, at the crime scene, or B, away from it. And it's more problematic for the state if they were away from the crime scene than if they were there.
Exactly. Right.
So that's how they're playing it. So that's how Ann has got to do it.
That's all they're playing, and that's probably why when they were going to get Bethany to testify to do a deposition or whatever, they jumped in and did the grand jury.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do that. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And that's what makes you think that there's people bigger involved. They wouldn't do that to like if it was a normal case. It just wouldn't be like this. It just wouldn't be like this. There's something different about this fucking case.
Yes. Yeah, it's bigger. And, who would they cover for? Like, if I did a quadruple homicide, would they cover for me? I mean, it'd be awful, thoughtful if they did. I'd appreciate it. But I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Not for me.
And for me, not for me either. I don't, unless you have like really high connections somewhere.
Yes.
Which some of these people do,
That's why I don't think it has anything to do with fraternity. They're not.
I think the frats were there. I think they would cover for the frats. They don't want the university to look shitty in any way, and the frats to look at shitty. And then if you look at like the parents of JS and JD, they're up their ways, dude. They got some pretty good connections, and I'm gonna probably be coming out with a show on that actually with some of the investigating I've been doing. Yeah. So I don't know if they're involved. We can't really say. You don't think they are, right? Frats?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Which way are you leaning? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. All I can say to that is I watch a lot of Jay Embry, Pavarotti.
Right, Pavarotti. Yeah, he's got a good theory too, but he doesn't believe. It kind of bums me out. He never wants to talk about the frats, and sometimes I almost wonder if he isn't there to keep us away from the frats, because I can take this case and I can make almost every theory out there fit. Do you see what I'm saying? I can take any theory and make it fit. You really can. On any, Mama D's got a awesome theory also.
I think regardless of it all, we'll never know.
Yeah. And we might not. We might not ever know the truth of this fucking case. And that's what I worry about, Eddie, is that we're not going to get to the bottom of this and justice isn't going to get done.
Right. I just don't foresee Bill Thompson standing up and telling us what really happened.
Right.
Not seeing that.
Right.
No, they got their whole effort into this Patsy.
Right.
And they're not coming away from it. Like you said when we started, they'll get their conviction. And the guilters are going to be gloating and say, see, he was guilty. It has nothing to do with that he was guilty. Him being convicted and him being guilty are two different things.
Right. Exactly. How do you think the jury is going to look at this?
It'll be a compromised jury.
Right.
Pretty sure of that. I mean, if you got everything else, why not the jury too?
Mm-hmm. True. Very true.
They have a way of getting to the jury. I mean, would you feel safe if you're a juror and you voted what you really wanted to vote? Not in that town. I don't think so.
Right.
Your family might be in danger, right?
They might. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's bigger people, and that'd take bigger people, like, all the way up to maybe senators or governors or something like that. Because why else would they be fighting like this? Why else would they be trying to cover for somebody? And I don't, and that's what gets to me here, because I don't think they'd be covering for somebody like Farley, dude, or the drug world. I don't think they'd be covering for somebody like that. That's what gets me on that. They would cover for people in the university that has their parents are well connected. They would cover for that. But I don't see them covering for Aryan Nation or anything like that. That's what the only thing I have on against the Pavarotti theory. Otherwise, what he does is excellent work on investigation. The guy works his ass off.
Yeah, he does.
He does, yeah. And he's got good. I mean, you have to listen to everybody's theories, and I respect him and his theories, and just like I respect anybody's theories except for maybe a drunk channel and and a couple of the Gilter channels.
And that's, not only will we never know, but putting a lot of time and effort into who did it really takes us away from talking, to getting the message out there that needs to be gotten out, and that is for Brian Kohlberger's innocence.
Right, and I've been thinking about that for the last month. The same thought that you're just what you just said, and I've been telling myself I need to stay away from trying to say who it is or who I think it is, and concentrate on the innocence of Brian Kohlberger. And I think everybody should start doing that a little more with the case coming up. Try to stay away from who we think it is, and concentrate more on the innocence of Brian.
This is the primary reason why I came back, because it's getting late,
right?
And we're in the third quarter, so to speak.
Exactly.
And
I'd say third quarter. Yeah.
If no one else is willing to, and it has to be me, then so be it. I will be the voice. I'll do the best I can.
Right.
Put my best foot forward.
You should start. You don't have a channel, right? You really don't. You don't do your own lives, right? Or do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. Yeah. You should start some lives. Maybe, might be a good idea.
It's
because you do have good thoughts on this case.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
One of the things that's troubling me is that it's getting late for fence sitting too. Those who are like 50 years, and I don't mean to police the internet. I mean, everybody's welcome to their own opinions, but that's a comfortable position. But the facts are out there if you're just willing to see it. He is innocent.
Yep.
And I know that the pushback is great. Those who say that he's innocent, it's like you're standing all alone, and that's a dangerous place to be, and it's not fun. But the harm that we're doing by continuing this dialogue of, well, if it was just, that they had the right guy, but the FBI was playing fast and loose with the IGG by looking into the database they shouldn't have looked into, and blah, blah, blah. And the guilty guy really gets, to me, that is, that's doing a lot of harm.
Counteractive, right?
Yeah. I don't like to hear it. It's just too late for that. At what point does it click?
Yeah, it's getting late, and we have to start concentrating on the innocence of Brian and getting that information, and however that is, and we got to stop trying to guess who it is that did it, because you know what, it doesn't matter. They're not in court. Brian is, and Brian is in jail.
If all of this is not enough for you to see, then you'll just never see it. That's
right.
The point
exactly.
where we're at.
Yeah. And that's kind of, almost reflective of how this country is in a way. Um, and maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. I just know it's a sad case.
There's too
It
many
really
lemmings. We just follow the crowd.
right.
I hate to see
Yeah.
it. And hopefully it's, if my putting myself out there and leading the cause is enough to stir a movement, then, like I said, I'm willing to be the guy. I'll do it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen to me? The FBI kills me and tries, make me disappear forever. You never know. I'm happy
Well,
and I love life. So if I disappear, you know what happened.
Well, I'll tell you, I know some people that stuff has happened to that are out there after they started digging and finding out some stuff, and I was on the phone with them when some of the stuff was going on, and yeah, it's kind of scary out there if you start digging around. I know he's innocent, Eddie. I know. I mean, I know it 100%.
Yeah, if you know it, you know it, and God bless you if you do.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to get religious, but yeah, when Ann Taylor and team, they got this in a right side up world. This is a blowout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
They are up against something of a force that is beyond
skeptic
measures, and it's a scary force. So if you are a person of faith, I'm sure Ann and company would, and Brian Kober, keep them in your prayers, and I'm sure Ann would welcome divine intervention on this, because that is what it's going to require in the end.
Right.
And thank you if you do.
Yeah, it's going to be a big hill to climb there. I don't see it going past their state Supreme Court. Maybe it does, but I think the buck will stop there, and that's where he's going to get off. And I think that's how it's planned. It gets out of Layton, Ada County, right? And they don't shoot the dude, so he gets off, and they don't have to go after the people that really did it. So they get away with it.
Yeah, somewhere there is a motive.
Yeah.
That cannot be discovered, or it's going to lead to the real corrupt ones in this.
Yeah, I hope so. God, I hope that comes to fruition or whatever. I hope that happens. I hope the world sees, Eddie. I hope the world finally sees.
But yeah, you're right. It is just frustrating discussing this with realtors, because they'll see it. They'll see that he's guilty no matter how. Even if they have to imagine him with the bunny slippers on and a taser, whatever.
Right.
He just did it,
Yeah.
When in reality, one person cannot do this, and then everyone's up texting meantime.
Yeah, one person can't. There's no way. And if there was one person doing the M's, actually doing the red rums, someone is helping hold the people.
Yeah, someone had a firearm, to control the situation in there.
That could be to a firearm. Yep, someone was controlling the situation.
Yeah, because there's 2 crime scenes in that house.
And no, that could be your Farley guy, because he was there. I don't know if you heard that Linda Lane footage or not, where we used to think it said Charlie. Well, here it turns out it says Farley. And now you got to remember, this Linda Lane footage came out before Ombre got on to Farley or anything. Nobody was on to Farley at all. And on that Linda Lane footage, it does say Farley twice. Maybe 3 times. We see you, Farley. Yeah. So he was there. He was definitely there, dude.
Yeah.
Was he the actual Red Rummer? I don't know, dude. I don't know. He might have hired some frat boys. That's why I'm saying I wish Mr. Pavarotti would look at that too. But yeah, he was definitely there. I mean, there's no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. Why would it be saying Farley before we even knew about Farley? So what I'm saying is nobody put that in there. Because Farley, it wasn't even known then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So he was definitely there. Yeah. And Ombre knows that. I think he's had shows on that because it was a Bubbly and I that figured out that Farley thing. That it wasn't Charlie. It was Farley. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, as far as, Ann Taylor having, bringing Dylan or Bethany up to the stand, I don't see that happening, because, what is she trying to get from them, right? And there's a balance, you don't want to look bad.
Say that, Ann Taylor's not going to what?
Have Dylan or Bethany brought up to the stand for any purpose, to prove something or another.
You don't think Ann Taylor's going to want to question Dylan and Bethany?
Well, no matter what, Dylan and Bethany are not coming away from this story. So depending on what specific questions, maybe they're questions that we haven't anticipated yet, and she needs to get that information on the record. But there, there's a balance to be struck. She can't risk like coming across like she's
it's already yeah, sweet and salty. Yeah, it's already been said that they're testifying, that they will be testifying. They will be testifying, and that means that she gets to cross examine.
It'll be interesting.
So that will be very interesting because I can't wait for that, dude. Because she's gonna rip Dylan apart.
Well,
Bethany.
Depends on what information she's going for. It's hard for me to explain my thoughts in the moment, but
right.
Dylan and Bethany, their alliance is already been made, and they're not breaking away from that. You follow?
Lawyers, yeah, but in the case, a lawyer can really trip up people. And we already know that they lied about some things. And to show that these people, these 2 survivors in the house lied this much, what are they hiding? Are they the Red Rummers? Are they the Red Rummers?
Well, let's do a quick thought experiment. Like, what type of question do you think Anne would be asking of Dylan?
What were
so like
all of it?
Because
like what were you doing at this time in the morning, and then cross-reference to the PCA and say, well, why does it say this? I mean, it's going to expose not just Dylan and Bethany, it's going to expose Payne lying on the PCA.
Notice how the state has already got Dylan as unreliable witness. You know, she claims to have memory problems. She's not sure if what she saw or
Right.
heard was real or if she
Yeah.
dreamt it. She had too much to drink and can't remember it. She doesn't know if her mind was just playing tricks on her. She's got her excuse in the book, and that came out through the interviews with the investigators, and that is coached. They are
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah,
yeah,
but
she knows.
that's why I think, and she
She
know
knows to
Anne's
be
gonna has to rip that apart, dude. Especially she is the witness. She's a witness to seeing this guy in the eyebrows. So she's got to. She's gonna nail. She's gonna nail Dylan. She's gonna rip her apart, dude. That's my opinion, anyway. And there has to be a cross examination. I can't see her just letting the state ask the questions and then not having a cross examination of them. There has to be questions on why they were texting so much, what was said, because all we see is they texted. Well, do they have what the text were? I mean, all that stuff has to come up. Know what I mean?
Unless it's been sanitized, who knows? Hard to say.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because keep in mind, if someone has lied to you 11 times, do you believe them on the 12th? So the state has had their hands on all this discovery before Anne saw any of it.
Right. And then look at what they did to her. They hand her 58 fucking terabytes of shit.
Oh, it's just dirty.
They don't have nothing separated, nothing, just plop that on her lap and there you go.
I doubt she even has the original 3D scan of the house.
Probably not. Or it's buried in there, under some 001563 number or something like that. I mean, can you imagine all the folders that are in that 58 terabytes?
Can you imagine what was in the house by the time Ann Taylor walked through it? Just a day or two nothing. After the arrest. There's nothing of evidentiary value left in that house.
Yeah, there was nothing left.
It was a worthless walkthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really cheaply built house, and they should not have tore that house down. And Brian should not have agreed to that, because that was a very loud house, like people walking up the stairs and stuff. Very, very loud house, and now they can't show that. They can't show it so people can hear it. They're going to have this 3D thing in the court. Oh, here it is. But they don't experience the sound. They don't experience how loud this house is. And that Dylan and Bethany, they heard a lot more than just a thud and a, you know what I'm saying, dude? They heard a lot more than that.
Sure. They know the truth.
Right. They know the truth. Exactly. And I think that's why Anne has to cross-examine them. She has to know that they knows the truth.
She knows that her expecting them to just come out with the truth and give it up for Anne, that's going to put their lives in jeopardy. And she knows that. So I don't know how she's going to go about trying to defend her job is not trying to solve a mystery. Her job is to defend Brian Kohlberger. So
exactly,
there's that balance. So whatever is whatever truth.
But she doesn't. She can't worry about. She can't worry about Dylan and Bethany's lives. She's worrying about Brian's life. Yeah. And so it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be out there. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's quite a drive.
Yeah. I'm working on it. So
I know we got sidetracked. Do we still have time? You had a video.
What's that?
We got a little sidetracked there quite a while ago. You said you got a video and we never played it. Did you have something else?
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of different videos here.
Yeah, I'm game
let me look
if you got
here a
time.
little bit. Yeah. Let's see. We could look at this just to show. This has been a while ago too. Let me see what this one brings up. Okay, so yeah, this is allegedly innocent. Listen to her a little bit. I didn't want to get this one now at this time. That was kind of a long one. Hold on here. Well, yeah, I'll just do this. Okay, and this is Criminal Confidential, a good friend here. And let me bring this up. I'm just about there. And there we go. All right, so this is Criminal Confidential. You got anybody that isn't subscribed, make sure you subscribe and like. This is from a day ago. Okay.
We got a huge doc dump today, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about the identity of this JM person that Dylan and Bethany were texting right before the 911 call. Now, this is all speculative, but this is who I think JM could be. Allegedly, this guy is Bethany's fiancé. Again, I want to stress that everything in this video is speculation, not fact. These are my opinions, and I am not accusing anyone of anything. I theorize that this guy is possibly the brother of Bethany's best friend, Jenna, who is referred to as JM in the new docs. First, I want to clarify that the timestamp in this photo is based off Eastern Time Zone, which is 3 hours ahead of Idaho. So the actual time this picture was posted is 2:54 a.m., not 5:54 a.m.
Dang it, I was muted.
Yes, you were.
This picture here was posted on 11/13 of 2022 at 2:54 a.m. Now think about what's all going on at 2:54 a.m. And look at them with the fingers and the works. These three are just in black. And I do believe who else was just in black that night? There was a bunch of them, but let's keep going here.
I found the timestamp of this photo very interesting, considering what we now know about the text messages between the two unharmed roommates and their friend JM. Maddie made a call to Bethany at 2:53 a.m., and a minute later, this photo is posted on one of JM's social media accounts. And let's not forget, this is right after Maddie and Kaylee made repeated calls to Jack D. The McClure family has a long-standing multi-generational affiliation with the University of Idaho. There is also a link to Givens Persley, the registered agent on the property records for 1122 King when it was donated to the Board of Regents for the University of Idaho. Coincidentally, Judge Hippler used to work at the same law firm. The University of Idaho has a building named after
Can't
members
make
of the
this
McClure
shit up,
family.
dude.
It's called the James and Louise McClure Center for Public Policy Research. I would like to reiterate, I'm just connecting some dots. I have not looked into any direct relation with Bethany and Dylan's friend JM. Hell of a coincidence. Remember, I'm just speculating, so please do not take my theories for facts. I'm not accusing anyone of any crime. I am just using my creative thinking and pointing out scenarios that may or may not be possible.
Yeah, hey, look, I got the.
So what was that? What was that last one? Yeah, this is from that night
Hey,
too.
look, I got the.
This
Possible.
picture, that last picture right here, that's from that night too. So that's some pretty crazy shit, dude. You can't make that shit up.
Yeah, that's wild.
You can't make it up. Then I found, and I don't know if you watch Bubbly very much or not, but she posted a video at 6:36 a.m. from Linda Lane, and you know where that supposed black SUV was. We don't think it's black anymore. But anyway, the same vehicle comes back at 6:36 a.m. And this person gets out of this vehicle, and it looks like it's carrying a dog that's very curly. And this person has a braid on the left here. You can see one braid. And I found pictures of, is it on this one? Or is it, there's pictures of Dylan with those braids right here, right there, right there. Dylan with the braids. Now that's the same vehicle that at 4:23, someone is running from 11:22 and jumps in that vehicle and they take off. And you know which one I'm talking about,
I think
right?
I've seen it. Yes.
So you have someone running from 11:22 at 4:23 a.m. And this is around the time when Bethany is telling Dylan to come downstairs, right around that time. And someone is running, and it's a female, and someone is running, and they jump in this vehicle. Who was it now? I ran a video here a couple shows ago, and whoever was that was running it, they found out what it was, what that vehicle was at 6:36, because they found the what do you call the logo in the front, and it's a Nissan Pathfinder, and that's what Dylan has. So I mean, you again, you can't make this shit up, dude. You can't make this shit up. So I did want to say that. I don't know what you think about it. I know you don't like speculating too much, Eddie. There we are. But I have to go there. I have a channel.
I know it all looks bad.
I have to go there.
I get that.
It does look bad. It looks really bad. You know what I mean? And I guess
it's just, what can I do with it, right? It's like the investigators aren't going to do anything about it. I can believe it or not believe it, but it won't change.
But what couldn't Ann Taylor use things like this to create doubt? Who is this person running from 11:22, jumping in a truck at 4:23 a.m. and yet you're accusing Brian and he left at 4:20? But here's this person running from 11. That would create doubt. If I was a lawyer, if I was a juror, I'd want to know that information. I wouldn't want it hidden from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I making sense of that?
The defense does have alternate perpetrators that they want to,
exactly.
have as part of their case. And we can read that in these documents.
Right. And isn't the prosecution trying to prevent them from doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said,
Yeah.
you had mentioned a moment ago Brian Kober driving away at 4:20. He wasn't even there.
Right. He wasn't there. I'm just saying that's what
Yeah,
the prosecution is saying.
yeah. According to
But
the
yet
state, he
here
was
you
there.
have this person. Yeah, here you
Yeah,
have this person running from 11:22 and jumping in that truck at 4:23 and taking off,
sure.
and then coming
Oh,
back at 6:36 in the morning carrying the curly dog. Looks like Murphy to me.
I'm all over it. Yeah, Jay Embry. I mean, there's multiple people driving away, all up to like 5, whatever in the morning.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a hive of activity.
Right. And that came from that the videos that Gak had. Get a
Yeah,
clue?
yeah.
Yeah. And he finally towards the end there, he's back up and running with some, what's the name of the channel? I can't remember, but he's back out there somewhere. But he uploaded all those videos for everybody before he left. And I went in there and grabbed them, man. I went in there, especially that 6 to 7. Nobody has it. Nobody had it. I
He
don't
had
know.
a lot of good work at one time, and he took it all down.
Right. Yeah, he should have left his stuff up there. He's so critical of
Unhappy.
himself, it seems like. Yeah, he's unhappy
He's always
camper.
mad. You can't please him.
Right. Right. Yep.
You can be
So
on
where
the
are you,
same team
Eddie?
as him, and you can't please. He'll find fault.
Right.
He's a fault finder.
Yeah. Right. Right. Where are you from then, Eddie?
Your state.
My state?
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, that's right. You are a Minnesota boy, ain't you?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Whereabouts though? You're down south, right?
Yeah, I'm south of you.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Wow. Yeah.
Probably a couple hours. I'm guessing. Couple hours, 3 hours south of you, maybe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I have two sons that live in over by Mille Lacs, and yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota. Hate to say it. Not proud of
Minnesota.
it. Wish I could.
Oh, I
not
love
be.
Minnesota. I love Minnesota, man. Except for the winters. Dude. I'm getting tired of the cold and shit. I'm getting too
It's
old
brutal.
for it.
Yeah.
It is. It's brutal. Yeah. People only knew. Yeah.
No, but
And
get a
yeah, we
a lot of
should.
Good.
Maybe we'll come out there together. Maybe Eddie and
Yeah.
I'll go out there together.
Mhm.
Go to court.
Just don't speed when you're in Idaho.
Right. No, I wouldn't. I don't speed anyway. It's 65, or if it's 70, some of the highways are 70, but right, Jessica. There's another Minnesota girl. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the
it
one
was
thing is when I first started this case, there was nowhere near as many channels as there are now.
What's that, Eddie?
When we all first started following this case, there was nowhere near as many like YouTube true crime channels covering this as there are now. It's hard to follow them all.
It is. Yeah. When I started, there wasn't. Well, there wasn't as many. Now there's a lot. And I used to just watch like Christina Randall and channels like that. And now I don't hardly watch those channels anymore because I'm so into this case. And it seems like those channels that don't just totally follow the case, when they do a show on it, they don't quite have all the information that they should have on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same as like channels that cover it all the time. And that's what I've learned. So I've kind of strayed away from some of those channels, but yeah.
And people learn to, they will listen to what they want to hear. So they'll frequent the channels that say things that they agree with.
Right. Yeah. I like going all over the place, actually. I like to listen to them. I'll go. I even listen to drunk people and whatever, and I'll try to comment, but I get kicked out pretty fast. So, yeah,
it's only to get worse. And this chief,
yeah,
I'm sure the state is coming with more fabrication. Whether the sheath is a fabrication, who knows? We don't know the full story of it. Nobody jump to conclusions or throw your hands up in defeat. It's too early for that. I'm sure there's a explanation for it.
Yeah.
There's been a consistent theme of deception throughout this whole thing. So I don't trust. Again, what is the source that he bought a sheath? And if you say the state, then that tells you everything you need to know. We don't follow the PCA anymore and treat it as though it's, and where did the PCA come from? But the state. So keep that in mind too, is what is your source?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Normal in a right set up world, you wouldn't
did
have
you
to
know
do
that?
Go ahead.
Right. Did you know that JD, they did find DNA of JD? Did you know that?
Is that the fingernail DNA?
I don't know if it's a fingernail or not, but
I haven't
I ran
that
this.
myself.
I ran this. Okay, well, here I'll show you. I ran this on my last show or the show before that. Here's an interview from 1/9/2023. All right, listen to this.
I know you guys are more in the know than the public and the media, but I'm sure even you were like begging.
Share them. It's really hard on the other side. So, I knew Jack D had DNA, and I was just so puzzled that it wouldn't come out.
You hear that?
Yeah, I watched that interview.
Listen to it again.
I thought you were referring to something that's frequently
What do you think about
came
it?
out.
Well, no, but I mean, this kind of saying it, isn't it? I mean,
but what are they saying? It's like, because while doing this charade, they also have to be simultaneously doing what would appear to be a legitimate investigation. Does that make sense?
Well,
should I rephrase?
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense, but how can he say something like this if they don't have it? You know what I mean?
Still hard on the other side. So, I knew.
Yeah, let's hear it again.
Jack D had DNA, and I was just so puzzled that it wouldn't come out and clear it. But I'm sure they had.
And why is he saying it? Why is he saying he just threw JD under the bus? Know what I mean?
Well, it depends on your mindset. Like what is your mind thinking when you hear that versus what my mind is thinking? It's like, of course, in a normal because that's all we were talking about back then. Remember, it was Hoodie Guy, right? We all had our pitchforks ready for him, and then
I still do.
Yeah, and then there was Enon Harsh, who can forget him?
Right.
And then Jeremy, he gave a few interviews, so he's guilty. And then there's we were all over the board. And so if they're using Steve as a way to disseminate what they want put out there,
or is he just fucking up
Of course.
Let's listen or watch the whole thing. It's only like 39 seconds long.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you guys were more in the know than the public and the media, but I'm sure even you were like begging for answers.
Yeah, and when you have answers and you can't share them, it's really hard too. It's hard on the other side. So, I knew Jack D had DNA, and I was just so puzzled that it wouldn't come out and clear it. But I'm sure they had strong reason. But I just didn't know at the time, and it was hard for me. Jack D had DNA. Jack D had DNA. Jack D had DNA. I was just so puzzled.
a lot of times he
That's
speaks
from
like
Justice
it's
Bureau.
cryptic. It's hard to know exactly
He is
completely what
different.
he's
Yeah.
saying. So does that mean that they collected DNA from him? His DNA was inside the house? I mean, there's good reason for DNA to be inside the house, I'm sure. So
Depending on where it was, you know.
is he just helping law enforcement make it look like they're doing a good job? You know, they're being thorough, right?
Right. Or did the police tell him that just to make it look like they were doing their job?
Yeah. Yeah, because meantime,
Right.
they're doing something that they
Right.
shouldn't be doing.
Like I said, like what I said is, which DNA was it? Was it the one on the, on the railing? Is it the one? Is it underneath the fingernail? Where was the DNA that he's talking about?
Yeah, we can't make too much of it. It's like,
right. But it makes me wonder.
It's like when he said, he didn't have to go upstairs. I mean, how long have we been like speculating on what do you mean? What's he talking about?
Right. Well,
And everybody runs.
I think what he meant there was because I think he was trying to insinuate that the target was Xana or Ethan. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't be his daughter. Yeah, that's why I think he said that. They didn't have to go upstairs. That's my opinion.
People hear stuff like that and they run in 10 different directions with it. It's kind of like a gossip yard,
right.
And that's why I started taking notes, and not only taking thorough notes, but putting a source of where it was first heard,
Right.
It's important in this case. So stuff like that is not really useful for,
Well, yeah, and depending on where it was located, I don't know. I suppose that'll come out in court. All that stuff will be coming out. Again, it's going to be a fun case to watch. I want to be there live. I really do. I want to be there live. I want to see this shit go down. So I'm gonna be working on that, and maybe we'll meet up and go there ourselves.
Yeah, keep in mind, I don't think you stand a chance of being inside anywhere near the courtroom inside.
What's that?
I don't think you would stand a chance being inside the courtroom.
Why is that? Why do you think that?
Well, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think there would be room.
Oh shit! If I camped outside right by the door, I'll be one of the first ones in there.
You better make sure that you do your homework on that and confirm your spot.
Yeah, I will do that. But I know Rory's going there, and Twiz, of course, and I don't know if Lana's going to be. I have a feeling there's going to be a bunch of us, and I'll get a press thing, and go that route.
It'll be all the talk. It's what we've all. It's everything is led up to that.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Yep. It's everything's leading up to it. Yeah.
But the between then and now is how is
exactly Joe
rule on these motions in limine. I think I know.
Yeah.
And I'll part with this. I'm not hopeful at all.
I'm not either. No.
And it doesn't mean that Ann and company didn't make their case. It doesn't mean that at all.
No, right. I agree with you 100% on everything you just said. Yep. Yeah, we're not getting my hopes up too high.
Yeah, I think he's being directed. I think he's had briefings, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's really been what
I feel like there's an army, so to speak, of federal attorneys that help with the verbiage and the language in these rulings.
Could be
paperwork.
Could be. Right. Could be why it takes so long for him to do some of this stuff. because it shouldn't take as long as it's taking.
Well, it's a very careful work. I mean, when you're doing what they're doing, they gotta,
Right.
And just because someone practices law doesn't mean they're a good litigator, and some are really good at, going into case law and research, and they're behind the scenes, and they're just bookworms, and so that's just the feeling I get. I don't
Yeah, I do too. I get that feeling too, and I get the feeling that it's not going to go well for Brian in this court. That's just the way I feel. But
I mean,
I'm gonna go there to support him. I'm going to go there to support him, and I'm hoping to have some people that might even be willing to protest, hold up some signs, show support.
Yeah,
because that would be huge, because if I can get to a place where jurors walk out and they see some of these signs, is what I'm thinking. I mean, because all they're hearing right now is the media. That's all they're hearing, man. They're not, unless they're going on YouTube, and we don't even know who they are yet, or who they're going to pick. That's going to be a process too.
Yeah, and you can tell the media is being insincere. They don't even believe what they're saying. It's a dead giveaway because they're just over the top, laying it on thick.
Right. Yeah. There's different theories out there. There's some that say that this is all a sham, and that there is other investigations going on and stuff. There's so many different theories out there, and like I said, I could take each one of them and make them fit one way or another. I can make them fit. It's crazy. Never seen a case this way. Well, it's been good having you on, Eddie. It's been a long time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we had you on, and I seen you in there one time, and I think it was Moonflower or Leah, I can't remember which one, to get you booked in here. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, and you always have good thoughts on this case, and very intelligent. You must be. You're from Minnesota, man.
That's right. No, I really appreciate Leah's effort in that. So shout out to.
Okay, it was Leah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Leah. Yeah. And all right. Well, thank you very much for being on, Eddie, and we'll catch you the next time around.
You'll see me around, Tommy. Thanks again. And thank you, everybody,
all right.
for joining us.
Thank you. Yep. You take care.
All right. Good night.
Yeah, night. All right there, everybody. Another Friday night, and with Eddie this time. Yeah, he always has, good thoughts on the case. He's a thinker, very intelligent. Of course, he's from Minnesota. He has to be. Yes, thank you, Eddie. And it was a great chat, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and please subscribe. We're at 4,900, 100 to go, something like that. So to get to 5,000, I appreciate the help and the support. And I thank everybody here, all my subs. Thank you very much. My chatters, I love you. And the non-chatters, I love you too. And I thank you all very much. My subs, you're in my heart. And my mods, you are my soul. And until next time, rock and roll.
It's alright. 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 It's alright.
misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood squirt, stuffed shirt like me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds, in hell I'll be in good company. Down low, couldn't go no further. Proud of and disgusted by her. Push on, little bruised and battered. Oh Lord, I ain't coming home with you. My life's a bit more colder. Dead wife is what I told her. Brass knife sinks to my shoulder. Oh babe, don't know what I'm gonna do. I see my redhead, mess bed, tear shed, cream beam a squeeze. The stage smells, tells, hells, bells, misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood squirt, stuffed shirt like me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds, in hell I'll be in good company.